morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. In case you're not sure who I am, my name is Elyse Frey, and I'm the Group Health Manager of our Health Plan Options Department here at URL Insurance Group. For a few quick housekeeping items before we begin, there's a blue bar that you can click and access the chat or ask us questions through the Q&A and download any materials for the webinar. So I'm very excited for you all to join Dena McVicker today so she can help give us an overview of what voluntary benefits are. So without further ado, thank you again and take it away, Dena.
Thank you. I am going to turn my camera off here in a second. I was just talking to Elyse about the fact that I live in the woods. We have 0 to very little bandwidth. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Dena McVicker. I've been with Colonial Life doing voluntary benefits for 25 years. And we're just going to kind of walk through a few very simple slides about what voluntary benefits are. At the end, I will remind you again, if you have any questions on voluntary benefits, you think you have a case that maybe is a possibility, you need more information on voluntary benefits, please get back to Elyse after this, and she will help you with what you need or get me involved if I need to help with anything further. So I'm going to try to shut my camera off. Elyse, can you still hear me?
I can.
Awesome.
I can.
Okay. So what are voluntary benefits? Basically, that means employee paid benefits. I love this graphic that's in this PowerPoint here that talks about employees and how they view that as where they want to work or if they want to stay at the place that they work. 75% of employees said that access to benefits through their employer is more important today than ever. I think if you have one client or you have 20 clients, you know that is how employees look for a job most of the time. Of course, money's involved. Of course, where they work, travel time, that kind of stuff. But most employees look at the benefits package first, which is why voluntary is so important. What we're going to kind of walk through again is what are voluntary benefits? What does that mean? What benefits are involved? Why are they so important today? And how do you identify when do I have an opportunity and or how to win business using voluntary benefits? How can you get some new groups? If you have questions, please throw them in the chat. We're going to stop every so often and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have. What are voluntary benefits? Voluntary benefits are, again, employee paid benefits. Voluntary means that they are in addition to core benefits. They help fill gaps. Like if you have a high deductible on your health insurance plan, if you only get $15,000 in life insurance through your employer, if you need disability or accident, if something happens and you're going to be out of work due to a disability. The money is paid directly to the employee, that claim, so that they can use that money for anything that they want, whether that's lost wages or household bills or travel expenses if they have to go get treatment someplace. They provide the ability for employees to actually pick and choose what's most important to them. So it's not cookie cutter. It's not one size fits all. It's not everybody gets the plans. The employee actually sits down with us and designs their own plan. What do I want? And then how much do I need? Most of the plans that we have are portable at the same cost. If somebody changes jobs or retires, that's a huge feature for most of the benefits that we have because people do take them, whether they're changing jobs or they're going into retirement. They want to keep that life insurance because the company plan is not going to go with them or a cancer plan or whatever. The voluntary benefits are disability, accident, life insurance, we call it special risk, critical illness, cancer, and dental insurance and hospital. So, sorry, I just need to go back out here once. Disability insurance is basically, we call it short-term disability, but it's paycheck protection. The employee chooses whether they want a 6-month, 12-month, or 24-month benefit period, whether they want it to start on the first day of an accident, after 7 days, after 14 days. They choose the dollar amount that they want, anywhere from $400 up to $4,000 a month. So you can see these benefits are very customizable. We could have a 10 life group and 5 people have disability and they all have completely different plans because it's based on their needs. And what it really comes down to is what they can afford. The accident plan covers things like broken bones, fractures, cuts that require stitches. There's a whole list of benefits that would be a flat amount paid back to the employee based on what happened to them. It also can cover things like x-rays, emergency rooms, ambulance, hospital stays, crutches, things like that. So again, we're putting money back into the employee's pocket because they probably had a high deductible. They probably had a copay at the emergency room. They have copays at the doctor's offices. So we're just trying to get money back into the employee's pocket to help them with expenses. Life insurance, we do term life and we do whole life plans. The employee actually can design their own plan on a term life. It can be a 10, a 15, a 20, a 30-year benefit. On the whole life plan, it's a permanent plan. They can go up to 150,000 with no underwriting questions. Same on the term life. So it's very easy for employees to get access to these plans where they may have tried on their own someplace, or they may have gone online to look at rates and didn't really understand it. There's very few underwriting questions with our plans because we're going into a group and not writing an individual person all by themselves. So it makes the underwriting process easier. It sometimes can be a little bit less expensive than what they're looking for outside. It also can help them get policies where maybe they've been turned down before because of health. The hospital is tied to your health insurance plans. So, again, I've been doing this for 25 years. I started when, they were just going to a $250 a day if you're in the hospital, to now we have companies that, the standard is pretty much a $4,000 deductible. We have $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 deductibles. And we have employees who just don't have that kind of money if something happens and they end up in the hospital, or something happens that they have to go to the emergency room. So this plan would mirror or come close to a deductible in a group. So we could do a $4,000 plan to match a $4,000 deductible. The employee would get that money again. So they would decide how that's spent. Do I pay part of that to the hospital? Do I pay part of that to the doctor? Do I pay my rent? Do I pay my car payment? But we designed that to be kind of mirrored off of the health insurance plans that we're working with. We can have 2 or 3 in a group if we have 2 or 3 health plans, which again, in most companies we do at this point. It can pay, again, besides just paying the hospital or the deductible amount, would pay daily hospital confinement, can pay emergency room, can pay doctor, can pay ambulance. So there's a whole host of things that it would be able to pay. We're going to try to work with you to match that up to the health insurance plan that you're looking at. So we're not trying to overcompensate an employee. We're just trying to help them fill gaps. The critical illness is similar to a life insurance plan where it would pay a lump sum, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 based on a critical illness like a heart attack, stroke, organ transplant, kidney failure. There's a list of different benefits. It also can pay multiple times. So you could have a heart attack and get paid that $10,000, and then you could have a stroke and get paid another $10,000. So it will pay multiple times. This is one of the plans that we see more people look at if they have a family history of something. My husband has heart attacks in his family, history, his dad, his uncle, his grandfather. I have strokes now in my side of the family. So this is a plan that we have because we know we have a family history of it. The cancer plan is a little different than the critical illness in that it simply looks at cancer and your treatment and the process and what you had, and then we pay you back for those things. So it can pay a dollar amount based on radiation and chemotherapy, prosthetics, travel expenses, hospital stays. If you get cancer, you go into remission, you get cancer again, the payments start all over again, based on what you're having done. A lot of people have the cancer plan, even if they have health insurance and they say, my health insurance will pay for that. Your health insurance probably will pay for a lot of that, but you're still going to have out-of-pocket expenses when it comes to hospital stays, travel expenses, experimental treatments, doctor's offices, checkups. Some medicines aren't covered under your health insurance. So you're getting money back in your pocket to kind of do what you need to do. The nice part, I think, to me, the nicest part about the cancer plan is that you have money coming. If you need to do your radiation and chemotherapy on Thursday or Friday so that you can recover over the weekend and get back to work on Monday, you're going to have days off. You're going to have travel for appointments, and even when you go into remission, a lot of times those appointments don't end. You still have appointments that you have to get to once a month for scans or whatever. So again, the part of it where it's paying that money directly to you, and then you kind of decide how you use that money. We had a lady not too long ago that got cancer and was going through it for probably 6 or 7 or 8 months, and got to the end where she was finally in remission and got a nice check from Colonial and said, my family's been beside me this whole time. So I think we're going to take this and go to Disneyland and just, take everybody. So again, that money's in your pocket. You decide how you spend that. Our newest benefit is the dental plan. We've had a dental plan that was kind of a reimbursement plan. This is a true PPO dental, has a great network. And the beauty of this plan is that there's no participation other than a normal group participation. So one person can sign up for dental in a group. I have a lot of groups that are 20 lives and under, 15 lives and under, 10 lives and under that don't have a dental plan, can't get a dental plan, maybe don't want to try to spend money on a dental plan when they only have a couple of people who really want it. So this is a great option if you have smaller size groups that want to add dental. There also is a vision rider to this. So that kind of helps too in some groups where they don't have a true vision plan. The voluntary benefits, as far as what you need to make a group, we need 3 people to enroll. That can be one does disability, one does accident, one does life, and we've got the 3 that we need. Voluntary also means that the employees are electing the plans, the employees are paying for the plans, so the employer is taking money out of the employee's paycheck and then remitting that to Colonial as a group for those employees. So think about your, not necessarily always your smaller size groups, but your groups who are maybe 50 and under or 100 and under that don't have options for group plans or have limited options for group plans. You may be able to fill in around that with the voluntary. And back to, that first slide, 75% of employees are looking at the benefits as how they make their decision to where they're going to work. An employer can offer these benefits and not pay for them and still say, we have disability, we have life insurance, we have accident. It's a great way for your clients to be able to compete in the market that they're in and fight for employees and keep employees. I don't see any questions popping up. So, okay. So again, why are voluntary benefits so important today in our market? Employees are more financially fragile than they were 2 years, well, maybe not 2 years ago, 3, 4, 5 years ago, before COVID. And they don't have savings. They had very little savings then, but they really don't have savings now. They need to protect their income, which again is where the disability comes into play. It's paycheck protection. And a lot of employers are getting rid of or scaling back on their disability plans and their life insurance plans because the health insurance cost keeps going up. So there's, again, a way for an employer to say, we do have disability in life. It's not employer paid. It can be employer funded, part of it, all of it, whatever. But 99.9% of the time, the employee is actually paying for those benefits. So 48% of employees right now could last 2 months or less if they couldn't work. Most of them have less than $1,000 of savings anywhere. And the latest information that we've gotten is that they have less than $400 available to them in the event of an emergency, whether that's, disability or an accident or ending up in the hospital for, a surgery or something like that. Are benefits still important to attract and retain employees? Yes, absolutely. 100%, 1,000%. Yes, we are all fighting for employees right now. There are less jobs somehow than there were. There seem to be less qualified employees. So employers are really fighting for people that fit their needs. Again, benefits is one of the first things that they're going to look for. How much am I paid? What are the benefits? And now the third thing is, people are asking, where am I going to work? Can I work from home 2 days a week and be in the office 3 days a week? So there's, top 3 things there that you're looking for, and benefits is one of them. Here's another statistic that I thought was kind of interesting is 67% of employees who rated their benefits as excellent or very good would recommend their employer to others, which means would they ask their friend to come work at that office or that company with them? If they rate the benefits high, yes. And then, voluntary benefits are a great tool for your workforce nowadays. You have, the Gen Z people who want certain benefits. They're looking at accident plans. If they have a broken bone or, fracture, they've been skiing, they have a motorcycle, whatever. And then you go all the way up to your boomers who are now thinking about retirement and life insurance and what benefits can I take with me when I leave? And then, the millennials and the Gen Xers who are starting families, looking at life insurance, looking at policies for spouses. So all of the Colonial benefits, except for the disability, you can also buy for your spouse and or your dependents. So you can cover them under your plans as well. So again, the ability to pick and choose people, different needs at different stages. It's just a great fit for, a 23-year-old to look at benefits and kind of get an idea of what they want. Go home and talk to mom and dad, all the way up to, somebody who's a boomer who's 62, 63 and starting to think about what they can do as far as retirement. Again, this kind of goes back to what we just talked about. This is a LIMRA study that we did not too long ago. We worked with LIMRA on 4 in 10 employees find their benefit package is not strong enough. So that's going to go back to, do they stay there or do they start looking for another job? These benefits aren't really what I need, what I want, that there's not enough here. Most of the employees that we sit with day to day wouldn't know where to go look for another benefit if they wanted individual disability or individual life. So having the voluntary benefits there is a great tool to be able to not only get, new employees there, but to keep the ones that you have. Benefits education and communication is a tool that we use, in every group that we go into. You can have benefits available, but if you're not talking about them, you're not promoting them, you don't have somebody coming in and sitting down to talk to the employees about the benefits, then you might as well not have them. Most employees, especially those, the younger employees, don't understand the difference between a term life policy or a whole life policy. That's an education process that we will go in and sit down with each employee and meet with them one-on-one, find out what their needs are, what they already have. Also explain to them what benefits they already have through the company and through you, the broker. What does the health insurance look like? What does the disability look like? Do they have life insurance? Do they have dental? Do they have vision? Do they have a 401k? Do they have an HSA, an HRA? I mean, there's so many things that employees hear at open enrollment and they forget the second they walk out the door. They know they've got to sign some form to get signed back up for the health insurance. And that's as far as they get. They don't really know what it means until they have to go to the hospital or go to the doctor's office and then, use their card and find out what their deductible was or how much they had to pay at the emergency room. That also is part of the education process. Because we're helping them to fill gaps, we need to explain to them what they already have so they can see where their gaps are. Not everybody's the same. Somebody may not care that they're getting $15,000 in life insurance. That's burial. That's fine. That's more than enough for me. The next person might say, I really need way more than that. I just bought a home. I've got a 30-year mortgage, or I've got kids in college. So again, considering voluntary benefits like accident, the medical bridge, critical illness, and other benefits like that will help the employees with gaps and also help your client to keep those employees. This again talks about retention. Benefits communication means that the employees are satisfied with their benefits more because they understand their benefits more. They may not have known 3 of the benefits that they had. Now they see them, they hear them, and they get it. And then that leads to job satisfaction and retention. So how do you, excuse me, when you are talking to your clients or you're going through renewals, identify, so sorry, my allergies are kicking in. How do you identify a prospect or an opportunity? Sorry. If they have existing benefits, medical plan, deductibles, co-pays, co-insurance, sick leave, paid disability, life insurance, do they have these plans, and are there gaps in coverage? And or do they already have a voluntary carrier in there, but they're just not happy with the service? One of the things that we find every year is we gain new clients based off of the previous carrier not having been there, not coming in, not seeing new hires, not answering questions. So you might want to ask, sorry, when you're sitting there, do they have it? Are they doing it? Have they had employees asking for it? That's a good place to start with groups that you're already working with. The product mix is voluntary benefits only, or are we integrating with group products? What other carriers are in the group? So, and I'm going to ask you this question. If you come to me and say, hey, I think I have an opportunity, what do they already have in place? What are we trying to kind of work around or fill gaps with? We're not there to replace the benefits that you've already put in the group, unless it's another voluntary carrier that they're just not happy with. I'm going to ask you about working conditions, which means, can we get to the employees? It's not just we're going to print out a flyer and hand that out, or sit in the lunchroom and hope that employees come in and want to meet with us, because nobody does. I mean, you're not out there just looking for insurance in the middle of your workday. Oh, let me find some health insurance or accident. So access to the employees means, can we meet with them face to face, or can we sit down with them, explain to them their core benefits, explain to them what the voluntary benefits are? In a group setting, in a call center, we do web enrollments. So one of the things I always tell the brokers that Elyse and I are working with is, don't think because it's a trucking company that you can't do it. We can set up call center. We can do web enroll. We do digital postcards, things like that we can get out to the group ahead of time. We can always get to them. It's just the access through the human resources or the owner of the company saying, yes, you can do this. And then again, pre-enrollment communications, we do flyers, we do websites, we do emails. We can do text messaging. We can do mini postcards for them. There's all kinds of things that we can send out ahead of time to get them information so that they understand what's going on. Our best case scenario is to go in with you, alongside you, either at open enrollment or off cycle. And sometimes off cycle is better, because once you get into open enrollment and you're talking about adding HSAs or HRAs to new health plans, deductibles, we're changing carriers. Once we get to the voluntary piece of it, the employees have just had enough. So a lot of times we do the voluntary off cycle, maybe 2 months, 3 months later, go back again and explain the core benefits. And now we're adding the voluntary. And that's how the voluntary kind of fills the gaps here and here and here. And it's just a better process. But my point in that was that we need the working conditions. We need to get to the employees. That's how that communication education piece of it works. So keep that in mind when you are looking at your existing clients, or you're looking at a new client that you maybe want to add voluntary to. Maybe you're not going to get the health insurance this year, but you get the voluntary in, you get a foot in the door, and then we can talk again about the health insurance when they're getting ready to go into renewal. So again, the questions I'm going to ask you, do they have another carrier that needs replaced? What benefits do they have in there now? Underwriting offers. And we talk about underwriting offers in respect to if we're replacing and they already have a carrier in there and there are 10 people who have disability plans, we don't want to make them go through underwriting again. We can roll them over and automatically enroll them on the Colonial. We still need to talk to them because, we need their information, their age, their salary, things like that as far as it relates to the benefits. We do have some preferred underwriting through URL and through the Gemini partners because I would say we've been partners for 10 years, but I think it's actually longer than that. Because they are a good broker partner for us, and they want to pass these underwriting offers on to you guys. So once we get off of this call, if you want to jump on with Elyse, we can actually create some flyers for you that have your information, your logo, so that your clients will come back to you and ask you for voluntary benefits. I'm also going to ask you about enrollment strategy and timeline. So again, is it a trucking company? Do they have 3 locations or do they have 30 locations? Is it a hospital where we have multiple shifts, different days? We just need some information to kind of set up the expectations for the client. And do they have an enrollment platform? Can we connect to that? Do they have an employee navigator, an Ease? Although I just saw yesterday that employee navigator bought Ease. Do they have a B-Swift or a CellerX? Or there's 53 different platforms that we plug into now. Almost everybody has some kind of enrollment system that they're trying to pull everything into one place. And most of them we can plug into. There's just a little bit more work on my end and a little bit more education between the group and us as far as how do we set this up to make sure that everything is linked up. And this is one of my favorite pieces. This talks about your job and my job, or Elise's job and your job. There is not a lot for you to do as a broker. You don't have to know all of this. You don't have to know all the products. You don't have to remember the participation. What you need to do is just think about voluntary benefits, maybe have that piece that has your custom information on it that talks about voluntary. Have that in your kits so that when you get to a client or you're trying to acquire a new client, you can ask them what they're doing. Are you doing voluntary benefits? We're putting in going from a $2,500 deductible to a $4,000 deductible. Have you thought about voluntary benefits to kind of help fill that gap for the employees? Do you have life insurance? Do you have disability insurance? If you don't, let's talk about voluntary. Elyse and I will get you a quote. We'll get you a proposal. We'll get you any flyers information that you need. And then I can go on the appointment back with you to the client, talk about setup. I kind of just walk through the benefits, talk about what they do, how they do enrollments, where are their people, what's the best time to get to them, and kind of start the process of, does it make sense for an enrollment? If we were going to do this, when could we do this? How could we do this? And then we have a team of enrollers. We have about 25 people out of my office who actually do this 5 days a week. And we do a ton of national accounts. So a lot of my groups are in multiple states, up to 30 states. So we have people all over the United States who do this and can walk into a location in Idaho or Alabama or Kentucky and get that enrollment done, just like if they were walking into the location in Harrisburg. So we handle the client setup. We get the enrollment tools out to them, whether that's group meetings, that's flyers, that's websites. We send people on site to do the enrollments and or set up call center or web enrolls. And then after the enrollment, we get them the payroll deductions. We set them up on our client portal to get the bills, terminate employees. We help them with all of that. And then we start the process with them of new hires. How do we handle new hires going forward? When open enrollment is coming up again, we'll get back to you first and say, hey, listen, ABC's enrollment is coming up in 60 days. Are you changing anything? Are you waiting on health rates? Is there anything that we should know to know if we need to modify our benefits? Maybe you're adding a dental plan and we don't do the voluntary dental plan or whatever. But we're going to come back to you and partner with you on kind of setting the expectations for the open enrollment every year. Help you at open enrollment. If there's anything that we can do to help you, maybe we do group meetings and then you say, hey, I need these forms back from the group. Can we take these and have them with us when we sit with each of those employees and say, hey, Susie, you didn't fill out your health insurance form yet. Here it is. Can we get this done while you're sitting here? So very little for you to do other than to kind of think about how you can add voluntary to what you're already doing, who you're already talking to in your network, in your clients, whatever. And that is it. That was easy. Our next webinar is in July, and we're going to kind of dig into a little bit of benefit banks and what that means. And we have a ton of employers, especially through URL broker partners, who are positioning a benefit bank as a way for an employer to stop doing $1,000 signing bonus, but give somebody $1,000 in benefits. And we're opening a lot of cases using that.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, as always, Dena, you're very informative and you just make this so simple and easy, and we really appreciate that. So, nobody asked any questions because you were just so good. Like she said, definitely reach out to me. I can help put together anything, get you in contact with Dena. We can figure it all out. But again, I just want to thank you all for coming and listening, and I hope this helps you put together some Colonial Life policies, right?
Yes, let's do it. 2023 is a big year.
It sure is. All right, well, I'm going to let everybody go then. Have a great rest of the day, everybody, and enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.